Everybody, and welcome to this week's update from the South African Business Council for Expo. We're only 7 weeks away, so we're getting closer to the launch date, and truly an exciting time for the South African Business Council here in the UAE as we really tweak the final few elements. This week was a very special week as we had access to one of the leading executives, not only in the UAE, but truly across the African continent, the non-executive chairman of MultiChoice, Imtiaz Patel. Imtiaz, residing here in the UAE, gives us a special and unique view of how it is to live in the UAE, but more importantly, to play such a significant part in what's going to happen at the Expo. We all know MultiChoice. We all know the unbelievable capability they have to tell a story in a very unique way. It's truly privileged to hear it from Imtiaz in terms of how they're going to approach Expo. Enjoy the time with Imtiaz. And remember to join us next week as we continue to meet with the CEOs shaping Expo.
Our journey is evolving. Each day we take another step forward on our shared path. We are all connected, and we all collaborate. In some ways that are obvious, and many which aren't. With your support and commitment, we look forward to a brighter future. And we are excited to announce that Expo 2020 Dubai will now open its gates from October 1st, 2021 until March 31st, 2022. For the world to come together and celebrate human brilliance and achievement like never before. We are one.
Mr. Imtiaz Patel, thank you for joining us.
How are you, Paul?
I'm doing very, very well. I believe you are joining us from London.
I am indeed. How's the UAE?
Fantastic. As you know, we're getting ready for Expo. We're 6 weeks away, so it's a bit of crunch time. But, thank you for making your time. I know you are a very busy individual. And we really wanted to just get your sense today in terms of a bit of the reflections on Expo. And I thought maybe a good place to start is just to get your view on what you see as critical success factors for Expo, and really getting your sense from a personal perspective in terms of what you think Expo is going to feel and look like and what it means for South Africa.
Yeah. I think the first thing is context, and I think context is very important. Obviously, there's a sense of anticipation in the air. There's a sense of excitement. We are residents of the UAE, so we feel a very strong sense of commitment to Dubai and to the success of the Expo. And really, we feel a sense of loyalty to ensuring that we can play our part in making it a success, albeit a small part. And then the other hat we have is a South African hat, because we believe the relationships are extremely strong. South Africa is a participant in the Expo. We want to make sure that we can play our part individually as SEPCO, and also, in my case, as MultiChoice, in making sure that the South African showcasing and the South African participation in the Expo is a success. Because if that is a success, we are adding to the overall success of the Expo as an event. Now, I come back to my point about context. The context is that we are operating in a COVID world, which is quite a complex world. There's a lot of discussion and debate and thought and people's summation and understanding of whether travel will be open, travel won't be open, will you get international visitors, won't you get international visitors? That's something out of our hands. That's left for the governments to decide. What we believe we can do is stay focused on our areas of influence. And really our area of influence is what you are doing under your leadership, what we are doing under your leadership as SEPCO. And I think we've got tremendous momentum behind us in terms of our contribution, both to the Expo per se, but also to the South African commitment to the Expo.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think the other part is the role of MultiChoice, because, once again, these mega events, which is at the world stage, really brings together so many different stakeholders South Africans, but also really the world stage of business leaders, unbelievable ideas of different entrepreneurs. So how do you see MultiChoice in that value chain? Because obviously it's a significant opportunity for South Africa, but also corporate South Africa to get access to these world markets. And the other big thing is that we also now see the Middle East and UAE specifically as a corridor into Africa. So how do you read the MultiChoice opportunity at Expo?
Yeah, I think for MultiChoice, first of all, we cut across 50 countries in sub-Saharan Africa. So in many ways, as much as we are part of the South African initiative, we like to see ourselves as a company that is supporting the showcasing of Africa as a destination that has got enormous opportunity going forward. 1.2 billion people, 50% under the age of 19. We are a company that has got 20 million customers across the continent. Anybody from outside of Africa, we found there's a nervousness. They don't quite understand Africa. We've been there for 25 years. We can be your partner. We can be somebody that brings confidence. It was very interesting the other day. I was talking to a global company and who's never operated in Africa before. And they were talking about partnering us in certain opportunities. At the end of that presentation, and this was like 4 meetings in, the one guy made a very interesting comment. And he said, MultiChoice makes Africa feel normal. So we forget sometimes how there's a misperception about Africa out there in the rest of the world, and it's seen in many ways with many negative connotations because of what's happened in the past related to poverty, inequality, etc., etc., etc. So if we can play a small role in showcasing Africa positively, beyond just the opportunity that lies there for MultiChoice to showcase what it does to the rest of the world. We produce content. We've got 50,000 hours of local content as an example, which can be exported to the rest of the world. It's Nigerian content, Kenyan content, Zambian content, South African content, etc. So for us, it's not just about what we are as a company, but it's also an opportunity to really show our loyalty and commitment to ensuring that Africa is positively showcased.
I think also the other part is that MultiChoice are amazing storytellers. So once again, with Expo, this is a great opportunity to really look at that whole value chain because we have buyers, we've got sellers, we've got so many different parts that are coming together. So how do you see, will MultiChoice amplify some of the unique stories that we have to tell in terms of South Africa being at the Expo?
Yeah, first of all, we reach 20 million customers. We have 20 million subscribers on the continent, probably 100 million viewers if you translate that to, 5 people in a household. So we're an amazing platform, I think, to showcase the Expo into the homes of Africans, okay? Secondly, we, as an example, to get granular, we've produced 50,000 hours of what we call local content. In other words, original content, African content. We're an amazing storyteller. Now, taking that African content and exposing it to a global market means that we are able to tell African stories to the globe. And that's a fascinating opportunity to really showcase South Africa in particular and the rest of Africa to the rest of the world. Those are 2 simple but very powerful examples of the kind of power we can bring by our platform.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, that's going to be a very unique opportunity. I think also the other big thing here is leadership. Being able to provide that thought leadership at Expo that really brings the social and the business construct together is going to be so critical. So how do you reflect on the fact that you're based in the UAE? You've seen the unbelievable leadership in terms of how the UAE is structuring a business environment that really is pioneering a lot of value that needs to be created across the marketplace in the Middle East, but also, once again, if you look at Africa as well. What's your reflection points in terms of the UAE leadership that you've seen, specifically related to Expo?
Yeah. It's very, very interesting. I've just spent 5 weeks in London. And it's inevitable that one makes some comparisons, right, to different cities, to different regions, how they operate, etc. And I must say with a sense of pride that, a friend and a colleague of mine who was also here in London went back to Dubai and said, Dubai is just so world class. It is absolutely world class. And one cannot but behold how in a very short space of time, Dubai in particular and the UAE has just become so world class, as in living at the cutting edge of innovation and technology.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. It's just as your personal experience of living there, you are living in a world-class city. Your personal experience of being challenged in terms of embracing new technologies, you are in a world-class environment. Your opportunity to connect with the rest of the world, you are in a world-class environment. There are very few airlines like the Emirates airline, as an example. So I think, on reflection, it's a true privilege to be living in a place that is at the cutting edge of what's going on in the world.
And I think you can also see that at Expo, because they're using that competitive resiliency that is part of the fabric of the country. And that's now manifesting in an Expo. If you look at the architecture, if you look at how Expo has been constructed around the client journey, it's really all about bringing all these differentiating factors together. And I think it's going to be a very, very unique Expo. Again, the South African Business Council has got a critical part to play, because it's only for 6 months. So it's all about how we can capitalize those value-added conversations in those 6 months.
Yeah, very true. Quite amazing.
I think in closing, what do you think will be the major success factors? I mean, if you think about MultiChoice or maybe some other big corporate South Africa organizations, what do you think will be the key success factors when we talk about the facilitation and the acceleration opportunities that we see at Expo?
Yeah, I think besides the fact that it will be an amazing event, right, and an amazing experience, some of the most successful things will come from the intangibles. In other words, connecting people, connecting markets, connecting technologies. And that will last for years to come, right? And it will be the stuff that we won't see the results of in a tangible kind of way, but they will be everlasting and they will have a long, long life. In just the fact that it's such a powerful platform to bringing people together, connecting them. And I think business will flow from there.
Well, it's exciting to have you, Imtiaz, and obviously MultiChoice is a significant catalyst to Expo. So thank you for the partnership. Also, thank you for representing South Africa. I think we're all looking forward to the unbelievable stories that MultiChoice will tell in your unique way. And also you individually, your contribution to Expo and also representing the South African interest at Expo. Thank you so much. And also thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. And thanks for your leadership, Paul, with the South African Business Council. I think you've re-energized it. I think you're bringing tremendous value to the value that the Business Council can bring to South Africa. So I really think you've added tremendous value. And we are privileged to have you as a leader. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much. Your check is in the mail. And I hope to see you soon back in the UAE. Enjoy London.
See you soon. Thank you.